Hello and welcome to my YouTube. This YouTube is remembering the year 1972. I was 28 years old and on the faculty at the University of Illinois in Urbana, Illinois. In 1972, I taught undergraduate classes and conducted research with the Plato computer system, Plato, program logic for automatic teaching operations. In other words, a computer that could teach. Richard Nixon was President of the United States that year. On January 4th, the first scientific handheld calculator, the Hewlett-Packard 35, is introduced. It cost $395. In today's dollars, that would be $2,948. So this was a very expensive hand calculator. On January 9th, the Queen Elizabeth catches fire and sinks in Hong Kong harbor. On January 24th, a Japanese soldier, and I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this name, Soichi Yokoi, pardon my Japanese. Anyway, he is discovered in Guam. He has spent 28 years hiding in the jungle, having failed to surrender after World War II. On January 30th, Bloody Sunday, the British Army kills 14 unarmed nationalist civil rights marchers in Derry, Northern Ireland. U2 had a song about this later. On February 4th, Senator Strom Thurmond of South Carolina sent a memo to John Mitchell, the Attorney General of the United States, in which he demanded that John Lennon be deported. On February 5th, United States Airlines began mandatory inspection of passengers and baggage. So this is when it all began. This made my life very complicated because when I was working for Apple, I would fly anywhere between 100 and 125,000 miles a year. So I took off my shoes and took off my belts dozens and dozens of times, thanks to this ruling. On February 21st through the 28th, President Richard Nixon makes an unprecedented 8-day visit to the People's Republic of China. And this was all the more remarkable because Nixon had been a very outspoken opponent of China. On February 26, Luna 20 comes back to Earth with 1.9 ounces of lunar soil. So we got to find out what was the moon made of. It turns out it wasn't made out of cheese. On May 2nd, a fire at the Sunshine Mine, which was a silver mine in Idaho, killed 91 men. On May 15th, while campaigning for President of the United States, Alabama Governor George Wallace is shot in a shopping mall. He survived and ended up in a wheelchair. In the Black Hills of South Dakota, a flood kills 238 people. I mean, think about it. You don't think of South Dakota as a place having flood, let alone killing this many people. Remarkable. On June 17th, the Watergate scandal began. 5 White House operatives are arrested for burglaring the office of the Democratic National Committee. And they were caught by a security guard. This began Watergate, which led to the resignation of President Nixon. On June 23rd, President Richard Nixon and White House Chief of Staff H.R. Haldeman are secretly taped talking about using the CIA to obstruct the investigation by the FBI into the Watergate break-ins. Now, ironically, Nixon had ordered the installation of this secret taping system back in September the year before, in 1971. He obviously forgot that everything in the Oval Office was being recorded on tape. And eventually, these tapes were released. On July 10th through the 14th, the Democratic National Convention meets in Miami Beach. Senator George McGovern, who backs the immediate and complete withdrawal of U.S. troops from South Vietnam, he is nominated for president. On August 10th, the Great Daylight Fireball, a brilliant meteor, is seen in the western United States and Canada. This is an actual photograph. Kind of hard to see here, but here you see the trail, and here is the meteorite glowing in the middle of the day. On August 12th, the last American combat ground troops leave Vietnam. On September 1st, Bobby Fischer defeats Boris Spassky in a chess match in Reykjavik, Iceland, becoming the first American world chess champion. Bobby Fischer had been a child chess prodigy. On September 5th and 6th, the Munich Massacre. 11 Israeli athletes at the 1972 Summer Olympics in Munich are murdered after 8 members of the Arab terrorist group Black September invade the Olympic Village. They took them prisoners, and they took them by bus to the airport, and they got on a helicopter, and the helicopter was blown up by the terrorists, and all of the Israeli athletes were killed. On September 4th, The Price is Right begins debut on CBS TV. On September 14th, The Waltons premieres on CBS. On September 15th, a magnitude 4.5 earthquake shakes northern Illinois. Now, I was just south of the earthquake. On this map at the University of Illinois, we're down here somewhere, so we never felt it. We just read about it in the newspaper. But the idea of an earthquake hitting Illinois was unprecedented. I mean, earthquakes happen in California, right? They don't happen in Illinois. On September 17th, MASH debuts on CBS. The long-running comedy about the Korean War. On October 8th, a major breakthrough occurs in the Paris peace talks between Henry Kissinger and Lee Doc-to, who was the North Vietnamese representative. This was the beginning of the end of the Vietnam War. On October 26th, Edward Land introduces his Polaroid SX70 camera, which was the first instant camera. I certainly went out and bought one of these. We thought it was remarkable. You snapped a picture, and a few seconds later, it popped out of the camera into your hands. On November 7th, President Richard Nixon defeats Democratic Senator George McGovern in a landslide election for president. And his vice president was Spiro Agnew, who was forced to resign in disgrace later. On November 7th, a young attorney by the name of Joe Biden is elected to the U.S. Senate, representing the state of Delaware. And now, of course, he's President Biden. On December 8th, United Airlines Flight 553 crashes in Chicago, killing 43 of the 61 passengers. A day later, over $10,000 cash is found in the purse of Watergate conspirator Howard Hunt's wife, who died. She was on board. And of course, this set off all kinds of rumors. Interestingly enough, the FBI showed up at this crash site within 45 minutes of the crash, and they started interviewing people. And they went to the airport, to the control tower, and they interviewed that. It was unprecedented. Why would the FBI instantly be involved in an airlines crash? Well, $10,000 in a purse is why. By the way, that $10,000, that would be $74,634 in today's dollars. So yeah, if I had $74,000 in my wallet on an airplane, that's pretty suspicious. Turns out she was passing the money from the White House to the Watergate conspirators. On December 31st, for the first and last time, a second leap second is added to a year, making 1972 366 days and 2 seconds long, which is the longest year ever. So, what did you do with those extra 2 seconds? Atari released the production version of Pong, one of the first video games to achieve widespread popularity in both the arcade and the home console market. There was one of these in a restaurant just a few blocks from my office, and you put your quarter in, and two of you played together. You each had this little knob, and you controlled this paddle up and down, and you tried to bounce this little ball, this little dot, back and forth like a tennis match. We thought it was amazing. So impressive, so high-tech. Pong. Egg beaters were introduced way back in 1972. Had a few of those in my day. The McDonald's Egg McMuffin was introduced in 1972. They're still around. The Nike Cortex, which was their first track shoe, was introduced that year. Very lightweight. This kind of put Nike on the map. Stovetop stuffing is introduced. I had some of this just a few days ago. I'm making this video the Monday after Thanksgiving. The Mr. coffee maker machine was introduced in 1972. I certainly had one of these. Ziggy Stardust makes his debut. This was the singer David Bowie, and he affected this character called Ziggy, and very, very popular, very successful. The maxi dress and the mini skirt were seen on the ladies back in 1972, and patterns were in. The musical Grease opened on Broadway in 1972. The notorious movie Deep Throat debuted in 1972. And even if you had never ever attended an X-rated movie and had no intention, everybody knew about this movie. We all knew the name Linda Lovelace. By the way, not her real name. So this was infamous, notorious. Everybody was talking about Deep Throat and Linda Lovelace. HBO begins broadcasting on television that year. The average man's annual salary was $8,691. Doesn't sound like much. Let's put it into today's dollars. Today, that would be $64,864, which is still less than the actual salary today. Today, the average salary is $66,790. Cost of a new Ford was $2,410. In today's dollars, that would be a $17,986 car. A gallon of gas costs 36 cents. What's that in today's dollars? Well, that's $2.69. That's still cheap gas. I'm paying $3.05, $3.10, something like that per gallon today. A new home costs $31,400. In today's dollars, that's a $234,000 house. So what were we watching on TV back in '72? What were the most popular TV shows according to the Nielsen ratings? Number 1, All in the Family, starring Carol O'Connor as Archie Bunker and Gene Stapleton. Number 2, Sanford and Son, starring Red Fox and Damone Wilson. Number 3, Hawaii Five-0, starring Jack Lord, and the only other character I remember was James MacArthur. He went on to make a number of movies. Number 4, Maude, starring Beau Arthur. And number 5, Bridget Loves Bernie. And what made this interesting was he's Jewish, she's Catholic. Now, this show only lasted 1 year and then it was canceled. But there's a happy ending to this. David ended up marrying Meredith for real. So they became husband and wife after this show was canceled. What were the top grossing movies of 1972? Which ones made the most money? Here they are. Number 1, The Godfather, starring Marlon Brando. And of course, he had that very famous line, and I quote, "I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse." Number 2, The Poseidon Adventure, where a cruise ship is hit by a rogue wave and flips upside down. And the people try to escape and survive. Number 3, Fritz the Cat. I have no memory of this whatsoever. Can't tell you anything about it. Don't even remember it until I saw it on the list. Number 4, Barbra Streisand and Ryan O'Neal in the comedy What's Up, Doc? Number 5, Deliverance, starring Jon Voight and Burt Reynolds. These 4 friends are rafting down this river in Georgia, and all the locals start terrorizing them. Very scary movie. Turns out I ended up on this river. Here's a photograph of me. I'm in the white hat, and my wife Sue, and we are rafting the Chattooga River. This picture was taken in 2009, and Deliverance, part of it was filmed on this river. So I got to raft the river where Deliverance was shot. By the way, they were selling these t-shirts in the gift shop on the river. In the movie, there are these strange people play guitar and banjo. It was a famous melody. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Paddle faster. I hear banjos. who were the top singers in 1972? Number 1, Gilbert O'Sullivan. This is based upon records sold and radio plays. He came out tops that year. Number 2, a very young Michael Jackson. Number 3, T-Rex. I barely remember his songs, but I don't remember him or the band. Number 4, Elton John, who went on to achieve great fame. And number 5, a very young-looking Donny Osmond came in as the 5th best-selling singer that year. So what were the top songs of 1972? Well, number 1, The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face by the fabulous Roberta Flack. Number 2, Gilbert O'Sullivan, Alone Again, naturally. Number 3, Don McLean's American Pie. What made this song so unusual was its length. This song is 8 minutes and 42 seconds long. The average radio song is about 2.5 to maybe 3 minutes long. So this thing just went on and on and on and on. It's amazing it got radio play because it was so long. Very popular. Next, Harry Nilsson, Without You. And number 5, Sammy Davis Jr., The Candy Man. And now I'd like to play and sing 4 of my favorite songs from 1972. This song is titled Taxi, written by Harry Chapin. It tells the sad story of a guy who wanted to be an airline pilot, but things didn't work out that way. He ended up being a taxi driver. And one night, a woman gets in his cab and he realizes it's an old flame from years ago. Taxi. By the way, Harry Chapin actually attended the United States Air Force Academy right after he graduated from high school. So the line about wanting to fly rings true because he really did want to fly once upon a time in his life.
It was raining hard in Frisco. I needed one more fare to make my night. A lady up ahead waved to flag me down. She got in at the light. Oh, where are you going to, my lady blue? It's a shame you ruined your gown in the rain. She just looked out the window. She said 16 Parkside Lane. There was something about her familiar. I could swear I'd seen her face before. But she said, I'm sure you're mistaken. And she didn't say anything more. It took a while, but she looked in the mirror. She glanced at my license for my name. Smile seemed to come to her slowly. It was a sad smile, just the same. And she said, how are you, Harry? I said, how are you, Sue? Through too many miles and too little smiles, I still used to take her home in my car. We learned about love in the back of a Dodge, but the lesson hadn't gone too far. You see, she was gonna be an actress, and I was gonna learn to fly. She took off to find the limelights, I took off to find the sky. Well, there's not much more to talk about. Whatever we've had once was gone. So I turned my cab into the driveway, past the gate and the fine trim lawn. And she said we must get together, but I knew it'd never be arranged. She handed me $20 for $2.50 fare. She said, Harry, keep the change. Well, another man might have been angry, another man might have been hurt, but another man never went to let her go. I stashed the bill in my shirt. She walked away in silence. It's strange how you never know, but we both gotten what we asked for such a long, long time ago. You see, she was gonna be an actress, and I was gonna learn to fly. She took off to find the footlights, I took off to find the sky. And here she's acting happy inside her happy home. And me, I'm flying in my taxi, taking tips and getting stoned. I fly so high when I'm stoned. I fly high.
The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, a beautiful song sung by Roberta Flack. I have rearranged it for piano.
The first time ever I saw your face, I thought the sun rose in your eyes, and the moon and the stars were the gifts you gave to the dark and the endless sky. The first time ever I kissed your mouth, I felt the earth. move in my hands, at my command. The first time ever I lay with you, I felt your heart so close to mine. And I knew our joy would fill the earth and last till the end of time. The first time ever I saw your face, your face, your face, your face, your
Sylvia's Mother by Dr. Hook. The guy that wrote this was a guy named Shel Silverstein, and it's autobiographical. He had an old flame that he still loved, and he wanted to revive that relationship, so he called Sylvia, that was her real name, he called Sylvia's mother. And Sylvia's mother told him, nope, it's all over. She's going to marry another guy. And she did. Sylvia's Mother.
Sylvia's mother said Sylvia's too busy to come to the phone. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's trying to start a new life on her own. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's happy, so why don't you leave her alone? And the operator said 40 cents more for the next 3 minutes. Please, Mrs. Avery, I just gotta talk to her. I'll only keep her a while. Please, Mrs. Avery, I just wanna tell her goodbye. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's packing, she's gonna be leaving today. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's marrying a fella down Galveston Way. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's happy, so why don't you leave her alone? The operator says 40 cents more for the next 3 minutes. Please, Mrs. Avery, I just gotta talk to her. I'll only keep her a while. Please, Mrs. Avery, I just wanna tell her goodbye. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's hurrying, she's catching the 9 o'clock train. Sylvia's mother says, take your umbrella, 'cause Sylvia, it's starting to rain. And Sylvia's mother says, thank you for calling, and sir, won't you call back again? And the operator says 40 cents more for the next 3 minutes. Please, Mrs. Avery, I just gotta talk to her. I'll only keep her a while. Please, Mrs. Avery, I just wanna tell her goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
This is the song Popcorn by Gershon Kingsley. I first heard this song played live by Kingsley at a concert in my college back in 1971. He wrote this song in 1969 for the Moog synthesizer, and I was blown away the first time I heard it. In 1988, I finally bought my first synthesizer, the Roland D50, which had MIDI, and I began working on that song back in 1988. In 2007, I finally got it put together for the first time and recorded it into GarageBand because I was working for Apple, and GarageBand was our product. I have drugged this thing out and reworked it for the last 2 weeks. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9 MIDI tracks that I've laid down. And in the video, I will be playing the 10th track live, which is the melody lead. This is probably the most complicated song I've ever attempted as a MIDI song. So here is Popcorn.